So hey y'all, I don't really make a lot of videos for my YouTube this type of way, but I wanted to do it just because I wanted to show up as my real and raw self, and I have been trying to really get in touch with my authentic self, and I feel like one of the things that has helped me get in touch the most is just being upfront and honest. I try a lot to come to my YouTube channel, to my social media as perfect, and I've learned to be okay with not being perfect. And I've learned that a lot of times my sense of perfection is rooted in other people's expectations for me. And I have no expectations for myself as far as who I need to show up to be. I show up how I feel. So I wanted to kind of come informal and talk to you guys about what's been going on in my life. I'm going to pull up a chair real quick and we're going to get into it. See how quick that was? See how quick that was? So, I haven't been on YouTube in a minute, as we all know, and YouTube's been a big piece of my life. I started YouTube back in 2015, so 6 years later, I'm still doing YouTube, but it's kind of gotten into a part-time kind of role. And that's just because I'm currently a senior in college, and I had some troubles going on with that, but I want to really lay out this video because I made this video specifically for one person that I'm going to be releasing in this video, because I want to just tell the truth for myself, and I want to also encourage any trans women to learn from my mistakes. And if someone can learn from my mistakes and escape heartbreak, that would be great. And this information applies specifically in this context to transgender women in our relationships with men, but it can be applied to any type of relationship you have with anyone. It's just more so there will be some specific things that refer to being trans. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. So I made 2 videos on my channel. You can check them out. I'll try to keep them posted, but if not, it's a quick little deep search. But I made a video called Toxic Relationships Part 1 and Part 2. And in those videos, I discussed this relationship, and it's crazy that I'm here to discuss it a third time. But I feel like now the situation has so much finality to it that I feel like now I can come and authentically share more without feeling like I was going to put myself in a situation where I couldn't work this relationship out, because at this point, it's not going to be. So I met this guy, and I'm gonna name him Bear just for the sake of this video, but I met Bear back in 2017, and me and Bear hit it off. Now, when I met him, I was dating around. I wasn't specifically exclusive to any one person, but I kind of had made up in my mind at that time that men were playing a game, and I needed to also have my mind, or at least keep myself open. But as I got to know Bear, I did develop a true feeling for Bear. And I really did want to be in a relationship with Bear. And things were going fine. And honestly speaking, a relationship had never really even crossed my mind up until the moment where me and Bear had sex. And after me and Bear had sex, I felt as though the next logical step was to be in a relationship. And I only say that just because I had raw sex with Bear. Like, it's not like I, was just condoming this man. Like, I genuinely wanted to open and share myself on all levels with him. So that was what convinced me to just be who I was, as far as trying to show him that, like, hey, like, I genuinely care. Because one thing about me is I condom sex a lot. So most of my exes never had even, like, experienced me raw. So that was that. So really, to be truthful, the first major thing between me and Bear that caused an issue was the fact that the first big problem we had was with my male friend, who I've been friends with for 9 years. And Bear, being controlling, did not want me to be friends with this friend because it made him insecure. So he basically told me that I either had to choose this friend or him. And in the end, I chose him over the friend because I felt as though I wanted this relationship. But I thought that I would be able to manage both of them. It ended up colliding and becoming a big mess. And so I feel like Bear never let it go. I don't think Bear ever trusted me truly, fully again. But he had put me in a rock and a hard place, because you were asking me to give him a friendship of 9 years. It's always been platonic and never romantic, just to make you happy and feel secure. And I felt like that just wasn't making sense because I felt like he could trust me and I felt like I could trust him. But Bear being Bear, Bear wanted to get revenge. Bear wanted to make me feel like shit about it. So Bear ended up going and messing with his ex behind my back to basically hurt my feelings. And so once all of this came out, things between us sort of shifted. And after Bear cheated on me the first time with this girl, and I don't even know if I can say cheated because he wasn't really being open about the fact that he wanted to be in a relationship with me. He was portraying that he wanted me to do all these girlfriend things, but then telling me that I wasn't ready for a relationship. But I was trying to at least move in that direction. So the next big thing that me and Bear argued about was about going to get some ice cream from this place called Cold Stone. And Bear, being a narcissist and being the type of person that I now know him to be, looking back on this whole situation, I wasn't wrong. It wasn't wrong of me as a woman to say, hey, look, I want to go on a date with you. I want to go out with you and spend time with you. Money or not. Because one thing about me is I'm not a money-hungry, materialistic person. We can go chill at the park. No food, no nothing, eat some fucking grass clippings, and I'll be glad. You see what I'm saying? If you're the person I want to spend my time with. But he was against that. And while for years he fed it to me that it was just because of my attitude or me being an aggressive person, I think anyone who knows me in real life, in real time, who spent time with me knows I'm not an aggressive person in public. I am probably the most chill woman you might meet. I am usually the peacemaker. I'm never the one getting rowdy and fighting. I'm usually the one that's like, everybody needs to take a damn chill pill. So that being said, he just didn't want to take me out because he does not like the way that I look. And I started to see more evidence of this as time went on. He was very transphobic about the way I looked, and that is really what I want to talk about the most. Because throughout the 3 years that I was in this relationship, I dated a person who faked their suicide. I dated a person who threatened to kill themselves. I dated a person who repeatedly sent me videos, pictures, voicemails of them harming themselves to make me feel guilty. To make me feel guilty. Not because they were genuinely concerned, but because they felt guilty. Because when I would try to step in and say, hey, I'm gonna call the police or some of your friends to help you because I don't want you doing that, then they would blow up even worse. This is a person who, when I tried to leave the relationship, would call me and threaten me and say things like, I better not catch you at your school, or I better not catch you hanging around my city, knowing that at the time I lived in that city that he was in. Those were the type of things I dealt with in private and never openly shared to the general public. Meanwhile, this person was presenting me to be an obsessive, crazy ex or an obsessive, crazy chick who was stalking them. But that was not the case. I genuinely cared about you and genuinely wanted nothing but the best for you, so that influenced the decisions that I made. This person did not have a job for majority of the relationship. And guess who was spotting them cash here or there? Guess who was spotting money for drugs? Guess who was spotting money for gas? Guess who was spotting money for medicine? Guess who was spotting money for food? Me. The bitch who he supposedly calls toxic and crazy and angry and aggressive, the person who showed him no love and affection, that is what all I was paying for. Do you think he paid me any of it back? No. Not a single dollar to this day. Not even a motherfucking thank you. Okay? I was dealing with someone who told me that they didn't like the way I did my makeup, didn't like my real hair, like the hair that grows out of my scalp. Why? Because you chose to date me. So if you didn't like my makeup, if you didn't like my body, if you didn't like my hair, if you didn't like the way I looked, if you thought the way I looked was shameful and embarrassing, then why even bother wasting your time with me as if I was going to be something different? This was a person who repeatedly talked to other people while I was with them, and repeatedly did so in so many ways that I feel like were intentionally meant to hurt and scar me for life. You dated someone who was trans, and you were open about both of these women, mainly because they had social media platforms where everybody was calling them beautiful, mainly because they fit into everybody's box of what a trans woman is supposed to be, and that's what hurts the most. Is having to wake up every day and sometimes feel like, damn, like, my nose is too big, or damn, my chin is too strong, or damn, my titties ain't where they need to be, or damn, I don't have a million people running behind me telling me I'm beautiful every day on my social media. Those are the things that fuck with me and make me feel like I'm not good enough because of you. And even when I would try to explain all this to you, you would make it seem like I was just an insecure woman. Like it was just all in my head. Like I was just thinking all these women up. I mean, this is the same guy who, when I kept saying, do you like this Sophia girl? Do you like this Sophia girl? Do you like her? All I heard was, no, you're tripping. No, you're tripping. No, you're tripping. Until 2 weeks later when you say, yeah, I do like her, and yeah, we did talk about it. But I'm a liar. I'm a narcissist. I'm the toxic ex. I'm the person who he had to redeem himself from. That shit's like, no one knows the abuse I went through for 3 years just for this motherfucking man to plot this whole trip to another state to secure his bag with another bitch so he can go move in with her and start all over again. What is so fucked up about the situation is that last year, 2020, I didn't want to be with him. I didn't. Emotionally, I was broken. As far as my spirit, broken. I was walking around every day feeling like I didn't know what was the purpose of anything. This is a man who, I want y'all to just get into the last couple of things he did to me, because I feel like those are the things that truly tell his character. Keep in mind, this man moved the first month of May to another state to be with another woman who has a child and all of this other shit. Now, mind you, literally weeks before, like all the way leading up to when he left, he over here asking me to FaceTime him to do sexual things. You over here entertaining me, talking to you as if we're still kicking it when you already know in your mind what you're going to do. You didn't give a fuck about my feelings. You didn't give a fuck about how I would feel. You didn't care if I was left devastated, broken, or nothing, because you looked at it as, well, it wasn't you. At least your motherfucking feelings won't be hurt. At least you won't be left looking stupid. At least you didn't waste your motherfucking time. At least you won't be out here by your fucking self crushed because you had already planned yourself a whole new job, a whole new friend group, all of that shit. All of that shit. And motherfuckers thought that they was gonna just leave, and I wasn't supposed to say nothing. I wasn't supposed to feel shit. I was supposed to feel shitty about myself, is how he wanted me to feel. And you know what? It worked. It worked. You wanted to humble me. You wanted to stop me. You wanted to make me feel like shit. You wanted me to feel like those bitter ass black aunties you got. Well, now I do. Now I do. This is somebody who is out here basically going to the world preaching this redemption arc of, I found my confidence again and now I feel like the man again because Morgan tore me down so much. But I'm like, motherfucker, you threatened to have motherfuckers attack me. You kept saying you wish someone would beat my ass. That's not no shit you say about no fucking woman. You don't tell no fucking woman you wish somebody would beat her fucking ass. Huh? Especially when you know I'm in an environment anyway where that is the case. Why would you even wish that type of energy on someone? Why did you even borrow money from me right before it was time for you to move down there? Because you are an opportunist. You said, fuck it. I might as well use her for what else I can get. I might as well fuck her good one last time, take some money one last time before I dip on her. And then, because I know she fuck with me and she don't want to expose me on the internet, I'm going to go on the internet and make her out to be the crazy one. I'm going to go on the internet and portray her a certain way. This motherfucker, I exposed him on the internet and now he's talking about pressing charges and shit. How? When you destroyed me to the core. You destroyed me as a person. Because I care. You never gave a shit about me. Only thing that motherfucker can say he did for me in all 3 years that I dated him was fuck me good. And even then, he couldn't do that all the time. So it was like, what did you really give me? Because I gave you my time. I gave you money. I worked extra shifts at my job to make sure you could have medicine. I worked extra shifts at my job to make sure you had what you needed. You can't say the same. You can't say the same. Everybody around me knew who you was. Everybody knew around me knew how I felt about you. Everybody around me knew that you was the nigga that I wanted to be with. You can't say the same. You can't say the same. Out of all 3 years that we were together, I only talked to one person behind your back, and that was just to simply show you I could. And that being said, you did it 4 times. 4 times. 4 times. With your ex, with 2 different trans girls, with this last shit. And I bet you they don't even know who I am. That's the most hurtful part of it all, is that you find me so valueless and so worthless that you can't even mention the fact that I existed. It's just like I'm just a shit stain that you have to erase. Like I'm an embarrassment or a shame like I was for the last 3 years. Just another embarrassing secret that you're just gonna wipe away. And that's all I get. That's all I get. It's like, how come you get to be happy? How come you get this redemption arc? How come you get to be all happy and peaceful and moved on and in this great relationship? But you had to shit on me to get there. You had to shit on me to get there. You had to break me down for 3 years to build yourself up to get to where you are now. And honestly, y'all, like, I'm not bitter. I feel like bitter would mean that I want something bad to happen. I've let that all go. I've had time to really sit back and think and not really want nothing negative, because that would be lying to myself. It was beating me up more to sit back and be spiteful, because I still love him. I still do. And I had to stop trying to fight fire with fire. I'm not a person that really strongly hates people. I'm not going to go out into the world and be like, I hate this man. I hate what he did. I hate that he don't give a fuck about me. I hate that I hate that his actions have shown me time and time again that I was worthless. I hate that. I hate that we can't be together because you find me worthless and you don't see no value in me, and I gave everything to you to show you that. I hate all of that. I hate these negative feelings I gotta sit with, but I don't hate you as a person, because that's just not in my nature. I believe we all are humans and got a right to be happy, but I just hate that it came at the expense of me. And it's like you're out here not telling the truth. You out here lying to a whole nother woman, trying to portray to her that you've just been single this whole time, or probably not even sorry that the person you was dating wasn't cis. That's because you don't know how to be true with yourself. And I had to deal with the bullying because of that. I had to deal with it. So y'all, long story short, what I'm trying to get at here is, don't stay with nobody that don't find you valuable. And when I say valuable, I don't mean as in valuable as in what can they do for you. But I'm talking about, I want to date somebody who, when you walk in a room, they notice. They notice. You take up space. You matter. How you feel matters. I've been dating somebody for 3 years that never cared if I was sad, depressed, insecure, none of that shit. And I don't want nobody else going through that. I want women to make better decisions. And I also want men, gay men, straight men, trans women, everybody to make better decisions. Be careful with who you give your heart to. Be careful with who you give your loyalty to. And be careful what you give yourself to. Because sometimes you can give yourself to something fully, and then when you get on the other side, you realize that you have nothing left to give to yourself on the other end. And that is what I've learned. I have to have something to give to me. And if nobody else is going to find this love that I have valuable, if no one's going to find this face valuable, if my hair not going to be good enough for nobody, if my body not going to be good enough for nobody, if I'm not going to be good enough for you, then that's fine. I've had to learn to be content with that. Get content with the fact that you can be everything that somebody needs, and they still might not want that. You can be the best woman that you can be. You can love somebody with all your might. You can give them everything that you want. You can give them everything financially. You can be a down-ass financial chick. You can be a down-ass ride-or-die loyal chick, and it's not gonna matter. It's all about someone seeing your value. And sometimes people don't. And you have to value yourself enough to walk away. That's what I learned. So if you take nothing else from this, and this was just me pointing out my thoughts and also just sharing it for the world, but if you take nothing else from this, find your value, and then you add tax, and then you stick to that shit. Straight up. Straight up. Know your worth, add tax, and stick to it. Know that if anybody can't match what you're matching with your value, it's time for you to fucking go. And it's not time to look back. It's not time to give second chances the benefit of the doubt. Because when that man first called me a bitch and a man, I should have never gave him a second chance. I really should have. I should have kept it fucking pushing like I started to. And I have to now live with that because now I have all these regrets about what I chose to allow someone to do to me for 3 years. So don't end up like me. Choose yourself today because I'm choosing myself every day forward now. Thank you.